There were hunters. They had hunted for 3,000 years across the stars. They killed entire worlds. They ate civilizations for breakfast. Their teeth were sharp enough to bite through steel walls. Their claws could tear open a spaceship like paper. Nothing in the galaxy could stop them. Hayes did not think about when he woke up that morning. He thought about Emma, his 7-year-old daughter. He thought about breakfast. He thought about the work shift he had to do at the colony station called Meridian 7, was the safety commander. His job was to watch over people and keep them safe. Emma was eating cereal in their small apartment. She was singing a song she learned in school. The song was about the stars, smiled at her. She smiled back. This was a normal day in the colony. The colony was far from Earth, very far into space, maybe 200 light years, but it felt safe. People had been living here for 10 years without problems. Emma finished her breakfast, took her to the recreation dome. The dome was a big clear building where children could play and run around. It had real grass inside. It had trees and flowers. It had playground equipment. The dome made people feel like they were on Earth, not on a colony station in the middle of nowhere. "Papa will be back this evening," told Emma. "You play nice and listen to the teachers." "I will," Emma said. She hugged him. Her arms were small and warm around his neck. Left her there and went to work. His job was boring most days. He checked systems. He looked at screens. He made sure nothing was broken. He talked to other workers. He drank coffee. At the station had an office with a window. The window looked out into space. He could see Earth's sun from there. It was just a dot of light, but liked to look at it anyway. At 11 o'clock in the morning, something changed. The alarm started. It was loud. It was the kind of alarm that meant something was very wrong. Jumped from his chair. His heart started to beat fast. On his screen, he saw the warning. A ship had entered their space. A ship from somewhere else. A ship that was not human. The ship ran to the command center. Commander Sandra Mitchell was already there, sitting at the main console. Her face was white. Her hands were moving fast, checking systems, trying to understand what was happening. "We have a scout ship," Sandra said. She did not look at, she kept watching her screens. "It just came out of hyperspace. It is close, very close." "What do they want?" asked. But he knew. Everyone knew what they wanted. They wanted to kill. They wanted to destroy. They wanted to make humans gone from the galaxy. "They are locking weapons," Sandra said. "They are targeting the recreation dome." Felt his blood turn to ice. The recreation dome, where Emma was, where all the children were. "No," said. "No, no, no." He did not wait for orders. He did not ask permission. He started running. He ran down the corridors of the station. His feet moved fast. His legs burned. His breath came hard. Other people were running too, screaming, trying to find shelter, but was not looking for shelter, was running toward the fire. The explosion came while he was still 2 corridors away. The station shook. The lights went out. Emergency lights came on, making everything red and dark. Alarms screamed everywhere. Fell, but he got back up. He kept running. The recreation dome was on fire when he got there. Real fire, real smoke. The clear walls had broken into 1,000 pieces. They looked like glass on the ground. Could see the playground equipment inside. He could see the trees burning. He could see children running and crying. He could not see Emma. Pushed through a broken window. The emergency seal systems did not work. The air was going out into space. Activated his suit. His helmet came down over his head. His oxygen started flowing. His suit's magnetic boots locked to the floor. The dome was falling apart around him. Hull fragments flew through the air. A big piece of metal hit the building above him and it fell down, rolled to the side. The metal crashed where he was standing just a second before. "Emma," he screamed through his radio. "Emma, where are you?" He saw her. She was standing near the swings. She was not moving. She was just standing there looking at the chaos around her. She looked so small, so tiny, so fragile. Started moving toward her. The dome was depressurizing fast. The air was getting thin. He could see the outside, the black of space, the stars, but he did not stop. Nothing could make him stop. The ship was preparing for another shot, saw the weapons charging. He could see the plasma building up in the cannons. The ship was going to fire again. It was going to hit the dome again. It was going to destroy everything and everyone inside it. Reached Emma. He grabbed her and pulled her close. Her little suit activated automatically. The dome sealed her inside a small protective bubble, held her against his chest. He turned and started running toward the emergency airlock. Behind them, the weapons discharged. The dome lit. The images traveled through human space in hours. Video feeds, photos, reports from survivors. Everyone saw the same thing. A man running into a burning dome. A man holding a small child. A man protecting her with his own body while everything fell down around them. The man's name was Hayes. The child's name was Emma. They were human. They had made a mistake. They had thought humans would break. They had thought humans would surrender. They had thought humans were weak, but what they had actually done was show every human in the galaxy what mattered most. They had shown that when you attacked children, fathers would run into fire, and if fathers would do it, brothers would do it. Sisters would do it. Mothers would do it. Entire species would do it. News channels played the footage over and over. Humans watched their screens and felt something change inside them. Something that had been sleeping woke up. Something that had been quiet grew loud. The Galactic Council sat around a long table in a station that orbited the neutral planet of. 100 countries and species had sent representatives. They met to talk about problems and make rules for the galaxy. The representative sat at one end of the table. Its name was difficult to say in human language. Humans called it Seven. It was 4 meters tall. Its skin was dark gray. Its teeth showed when it talked. Its claws made scratches on the table. Admiral Lisa Porter arrived at the council meeting. She was 53 years old. She had fought in 3 wars. She had lost friends and soldiers. She had seen the worst that the galaxy could do. She walked to the center of the council chamber. Everyone went quiet. Lisa Porter did not sit down. She stood. She looked at every representative in the room, then she looked at Seven. "You attacked our people," she said. Her voice was not loud, but it was hard, like steel, like stone. "You attacked civilians, you attacked children, you thought we would be afraid, you thought we would leave, you thought we would disappear and never bother you again." Seven made a sound. It was laughter. It was a sound like breaking glass and metal tearing. "Your people are soft," Seven said. "You are weak, you breed too fast and die too easy. We will eliminate you from this galaxy. It is already decided." Admiral Porter did not move. She did not blink. "You made a mistake," she said. "A big mistake. You did not attack our military. You did not attack our cities or our ships or our defenses. You attacked something else. You attacked our families. You attacked our children. You attacked what we love, and now you will learn what that means." Seven laughed again. Other representatives made the same sound. They thought the humans were making noise. They thought the humans were afraid and trying to hide it with words. They were wrong. Within 12 hours, every human military base in the galaxy received the same order. Mobilize, prepare for war. Everything that was broken was fixed. Everything that was old was brought back to service. Ships that had been sleeping in docks for 10 years fired up their engines. Weapons systems that had not been used in decades came online. But something else happened too, something that surprised everyone. Humans volunteered, not because they had to, not because they were forced. They volunteered because they wanted to fight. Young people, old people, people with no military training. They came to enlistment offices and signed papers. They signed papers that said they would probably die. They signed papers that said they might not come home. They signed papers anyway. Parents volunteered and left their children. Children volunteered and left their parents. Married people volunteered and left their spouses. The numbers grew and grew. 100,000, then 500,000, then millions. The recruitment offices could not keep up. A news reporter asked Admiral Porter why humans would volunteer for something so dangerous. Why would they choose to risk their lives? Lisa Porter thought for a moment, then she answered. "Because," she said, "a 7-year-old girl named Emma Hayes was in that dome, and her father ran into the fire to save her, did not think about being afraid. He did not think about dying. He thought about his daughter. He thought about saving her. And every human who saw that moment understood. We understood that this is what it means to be human. We understand that there are things more important than staying safe. There are things worth dying for, and they do not understand this. They think we are weak because we love each other, but we are actually strongest because we love each other." Volunteers kept coming. They came in such numbers that the military had to open new training facilities. They came from every country on Earth. They came from every human colony across space. They came because Emma Hayes' father had shown them what courage really looked like. The first battle happened at a place called Outpost Delta 9. It was a mining station on the edge of space that both humans and wanted to control. They attacked with their usual plan: big ships, heavy weapons, overwhelming force. They expected the humans to die quickly. Instead, something different happened. The human soldiers fought with strength that shocked they fought with precision and power. They fought like they knew something they did not. They held their ground. They protected each other. They did not retreat. They did not surrender. They did not break. They won the battle in the end. They had more ships and more weapons, but it was not an easy victory, not like the victories they usually got. The humans made them work. The humans made them fight for every meter of space. And when it was over, they were confused. This was not how humans were supposed to behave. That meant he studied how different species behaved and thought. He worked at a research station far from the fighting. He looked at the battle data from Outpost Delta 9. He studied how humans fought. He watched how they made decisions. He looked at the patterns. Something was wrong with his understanding. Something did not match what he knew about humans. Requested a meeting with Admiral Lisa Porter. He traveled to her command station. He brought data files and recordings and analysis. He was nervous. A scientist talking to an admiral was not a normal thing. Admiral Porter listened to him. She did not interrupt. She did not ask him to hurry. She just listened. "Your species is not fighting like other species fight," said. He showed her videos. "Look at this human soldier. He is injured. His arm is damaged. He should retreat and get medical help. Instead, he protects the soldier next to him. He takes a blast that was meant for his friend. He does this even though it makes his injury worse." He showed her another video. "This one is more extreme. This human soldier is out of ammunition. He is moving toward him. The human has no weapon and no defense, but instead of running, he moves toward danger. He charges forward. This makes no sense from a survival perspective, but look what happens. His team sees what he is doing. They fire at thee and save his life. His choice to be brave inspired them to be brave." Admiral Porter watched the videos. She did not say anything. Continued. "I have studied battle data from 50 different species. When a species is losing, they become more careful, they become more defensive, they make safer choices. But humans are doing the opposite. The more danger you are in, the more brave you become. The more risk there is, the more you are willing to sacrifice. This is not military strategy. This is something else. This is something biological, or maybe something spiritual." "What are you saying?" Admiral Porter asked. "I am saying," answered carefully, "that they have made a critical error. They think human strength comes from weapons or technology, but human strength comes from something different. It comes from the bonds between humans. It comes from love. It comes from the willingness to die for someone else. They cannot fight this. They do not have this. They do not understand this." Admiral Porter leaned back in her chair. She thought about Hayes running into the fire. She thought about Emma Hayes' small hand holding her father's hand. She thought about millions of humans volunteering to die for people they had never met. She thought about analysis. "Then we have already won," she said. Shook his head slowly. "Not yet, but you will win, because they will never be able to predict what you will do. They will never be able to understand why you make the choices you make. And an enemy you do not understand is an enemy you cannot defeat." Word of analysis spread through the human military. Officers told their soldiers. Soldiers told each other. They began to understand what they were fighting for. They were not fighting to destroy they were fighting to prove something about their species. They were fighting to show that humanity was more powerful than the believed. They were fighting to show that love was stronger than hatred. They were fighting to show that sacrifice was greater than domination. The next battle was at a place called Station Gamma. They attacked with the same strategy they had used at Outpost Delta 9. They expected an easy victory, but the humans were ready. The humans had studied the last battle. They had learned. They had prepared. They had decided what they would do. The human ships arrived and the humans came out fighting. They fought with everything they had. They protected each other. When one ship was damaged, other ships covered it. When soldiers were wounded, their brothers and sisters shielded them. When supplies ran low, people shared what they had. The humans fought like they were one organism with one goal. The lost, for the first time in 1,000 years, the lost a battle. Seven received the news at the Galactic Council station. Its face went very still. Its claws made deep scratches in the table. It did not speak for a long time. Then it spoke one word. "Impossible." But it was not impossible. It was happening. Battle after battle, the humans fought. Sometimes they won. Sometimes they lost. But they kept fighting. They would not stop. They would not quit. They would not surrender. Because behind every human soldier was the memory of Emma Hayes. Behind every human soldier was the understanding of what they were fighting for. Hayes was promoted to captain. He led a squadron of fighter ships. Emma Hayes stayed on Earth in a safe place with people who loved her and protected her. Emma did not know that millions of people were fighting partly because of her. She did not know that her father's choice to run into fire had changed the galaxy. She was just a child who was safe and loved. But that was enough. That was everything. They learned slowly. They learned that humans were not like other species. They learned that the war lasted 18 months. 18 months of fighting across dozens of star systems. 18 months of ships destroying ships. 18 months of soldiers dying in the cold of space. 18 months of humans refusing to quit. They had weapons that were better. They had ships that were faster. They had armor that was stronger. But they did not have what the humans had. They did not have the reason to fight. They did not have the love that made humans brave. They fought because they thought they had to. The humans fought because they wanted to. That made all the difference. Slowly, the position got weaker. Their fleets got smaller. Their worlds got threatened. Their confidence got shaken. For the first time in recorded history, they considered surrender. The final battle happened at a place called Prime. It was the home world. It was where the government lived. It was where Seven lived. Captain Hayes led the human assault. His fighters went in first. His ships targeted the defense systems. Behind his fighters came the heavy cruisers. Behind the cruisers came the rest of the human fleet. They fought hard. They fought for their world. They fought for their survival. But they were tired. They had been fighting for 18 months and they were tired. The humans were tired too. But the humans had something they did not have. The humans had hope. When the last defense grid came down, the human ships landed. Human soldiers walked on Prime. They walked through cities. They walked through government buildings, but they did not destroy. They did not kill civilians. They did not do what they would have done. They offered terms. Seven received the human terms in his command center. Surrender. Withdraw from human space. Never attack humans again. Accept a new role in the galaxy where all species were equals. Accept that the age of predators and prey was over. Seven looked at the human terms. Then he looked at the human soldiers standing in his chamber. They had guns. They could have killed him. They could have destroyed his world. They could have done anything they wanted. But instead, they offered terms. They offered survival. Seven understood finally. The humans were not just strong. The humans were strong and merciful. They were strong and fair. They won the war, but they did not want revenge. This was something they had never seen before. They had conquered species. They had destroyed worlds, but they had never offered mercy to their enemies. They did not believe in mercy. "We accept," Seven said. His voice was quiet. The war was over. News spread through the galaxy faster than light could travel. The impossible had happened. The humans had defeated the ancient predators had been forced to surrender. Every species in the galaxy felt the change. The age of fear was ending. A new age was beginning. The Galactic Council met again. This time, humans sat at 3 of the 20 seats around the table. Admiral Lisa Porter was one of them. Hayes was another. The third seat was given to a child, Emma Hayes, 7 years old, the child who had started everything by being attacked in a recreation dome. Emma sat at the council table and looked very small. The room was huge. The representatives from 50 different species looked at her. She looked back at them. She did not understand what was happening. She only knew that her father was there and her mother was there and she was safe. Admiral Porter stood. "I propose a new agreement for the galaxy. They represent a threat no more, but their threat showed us something important. It showed us that we cannot live as predators and prey. It showed us that all species deserve safety. I propose that we change our laws. I propose that attacking another species will not be allowed. I propose that we cooperate. I propose that we build something new together." The representatives from 100 species talked and debated. Some were afraid, some were hopeful, some did not believe that things could really change. But in the end, they agreed. They voted. The vote was nearly unanimous. The new agreement was made. The representative did not speak against the agreement. Seven understood something now that they had never understood before. The humans had shown mercy when they could have shown cruelty. The humans had offered cooperation when they could have demanded domination. This was not weakness. This was strength. This was something worth respecting. That night, Hayes and Emma Hayes stood on the observation deck of the council station. They looked out at the stars. Emma asked her father a question. "Papa, why did the bad people attack us?" Thought carefully before he answered. He wanted to explain something true, something important. "They attacked us because they did not understand something," said. "They thought that being strong meant being mean. They thought that having power meant you should hurt people. They thought that predators were always right and everyone else was always wrong. But they were wrong about all of it. What were they wrong about? Emma asked. 5 years after the war ended, the galaxy was very different. Trade ships from 100 species moved between worlds. Scientists worked together to solve problems. Doctors shared knowledge to heal the sick. Teachers taught the young ones from all species about peace and cooperation. The age of predators was truly over. Hayes was promoted to admiral. The military wanted to make him a hero. They wanted him to lead their forces, but said no. He wanted to do something different. He asked to be released from the military. He asked to become a diplomat instead. The Galactic Council accepted his request. Hayes became the human ambassador to the outer reaches. His job was to help new colonies join the human civilization. His job was to teach other species about human values. His job was to show that cooperation was possible. Emma Hayes stayed on Earth with her mother. She grew strong and healthy. She learned languages. She learned about other species. She learned about the war that had changed everything. But she did not live in fear. She lived in hope. She lived in the understanding that her father had taught her. She lived knowing that love was stronger than violence. When Emma was 10 years old, she met her for the first time. They came to Earth as a student. His name was difficult to say in human language. The humans called him young because he was young by standards. He was only 40 years old. Young wanted to understand humans. He wanted to know why humans had fought so hard. He wanted to know why humans had offered mercy instead of revenge. He came to Earth to find answers. Brought Young to meet Emma. Emma was not afraid. She talked to Young about Earth. She showed him plants and animals. She showed him the ocean. She showed him the sky at night filled with stars. Young had never seen anything like it. "Why do you show me these things?" Young asked. His voice was rough, but his words were careful. He was learning to speak human language. "Because they are beautiful," Emma said, "and beautiful things should be shared with friends." "I am not your friend," Young said. "I am my species attacked your people, my species attacked you." Emma thought about this. She was only 10 years old, but she understood something important. "That was before," Emma said. "That was when they did not understand. Now you are learning, now you are here, now you are my friend." Young made a sound that humans learned was laughter. It was not like laughter during the war. It was not cruel. It was surprised and gentle. Over time, Young became part of Emma's world. He studied at her school. He lived in her neighborhood. He made friends with other children. He learned that could change. He learned that being strong did not mean being mean. He learned that the humans had taught him something his own species could not teach him. They had taught each other to hunt and kill, but the humans had taught each other to love. Young returned to Prime and told other what he had learned. He told them about Earth. He told them about Emma Hayes. He told them that they could be different if they chose to be different. Some listened, some did not, but change was beginning. Years passed. Emma Hayes grew up. She became a diplomat like her father. She traveled to different worlds. She talked to different species. She taught them about human philosophy. She taught them that cooperation was stronger than conflict. She taught them that protecting children was the most important job any civilization could have. When Emma was 25 years old, she gave a speech to the Galactic Council. The chamber was full. Every species had representatives there. Emma stood in the center and spoke. "I am Emma Hayes," she said. "When I was 7 years old, predators attacked my home. They attacked me, but my father ran into fire to save me. That moment changed everything. That moment showed everyone that humans would sacrifice everything for the people we love. That moment changed the galaxy." She paused and looked around the room. "I'm here today to tell you something. The war is over. The fear is over. But the lesson is not over. The lesson is this. Every species in this galaxy has people they love. Every species has children they want to protect. Every species can choose to be like the war. Every species can choose to hurt each other, or every species can choose to be like humans chose to be. Every species can choose to protect each other. Every species can choose to build something together instead of tearing each other down." The representatives listened. Many of them had memories of the war. Many of them had seen species destroyed by the... Many of them had families that had died. But they also had memories of humans offering mercy. They had memories of humans showing that change was possible. "I stand here as proof," Emma said. "That peace is possible. I stand here because my father loved me. I stand here because my father chose to be brave. I stand here because humans showed the galaxy what love really means. And I am asking all of you to do the same. Choose love, choose protection, choose cooperation, choose to build a galaxy where children like me can grow up safe. The speech was broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. Every species heard it. Millions of people from 100 different worlds watched Emma Hayes speak. They remembered her from the war. They remembered the 7-year-old girl in the recreation dome. They remembered the father who ran into fire. Emma Hayes became the youngest ambassador ever to serve on the Galactic Council. She worked for 50 years. She traveled to worlds that had never talked to each other before. She helped species find ways to cooperate. She did this work because she remembered what her father had taught her. She remembered that love was stronger than violence. Hayes lived to be 90 years old. When he died, the entire galaxy mourned. His funeral was broadcast to every world. Humans came. Species that had never worked together came and stood side by side and remembered a man who had shown them all what courage really looked like. Emma closed her father's eyes when he died. She held his hand one last time, and she whispered words that he had taught her when she was 7 years old. Papa showed us that the most powerful thing in the galaxy is not weapons or technology or power. The most powerful thing is love. The most powerful thing is being willing to sacrifice for others. The most powerful thing is choosing to protect instead of attack. After Hayes died, Emma Hayes continued his work. She became the most respected diplomat in the galaxy. Young people from 100 species wanted to study with her. They wanted to learn what she knew. They wanted to understand how to build peace instead of war. Emma taught them all the same lesson. She taught them about the day they attacked. She taught them about her father running into fire. She taught them that this was what real strength looked like. Real strength was not the power to destroy. Real strength was the courage to protect. Real strength was the willingness to love even when love was dangerous. 100 years after Hayes ran into fire, humans and worked together on a space station. They lived together. They worked together. They built things together. Young humans played together like brothers and sisters. They did not fight. They did not fear each other. They cooperated. The station had a memorial. It was a simple thing. It was a picture of Hayes holding Emma Hayes. Underneath the picture were words. The words said, "Here stood a man who showed the galaxy what love means. Here stood a man who proved that sacrifice is greater than conquest. Here stood Hayes, and everything changed." The galaxy had learned the lesson that Hayes taught. The galaxy had learned that the strongest force in existence was not violence. The strongest force was love. And once the galaxy learned that lesson, nothing was ever the same again. Thousands of years later, in history classes across 100 worlds, young students would learn the story of Emma Hayes and Hayes. They would learn about the attack. They would learn about the father who ran into fire. They would learn that this was the moment when the galaxy changed. This was the moment when predators became protectors. This was the moment when fear became hope. And every student would understand something that they had never understood. Every student would understand that the measure of a civilization was not how many weapons they had. The measure of a civilization was whether they would protect their children. The measure of a civilization was whether they were willing to love. And humans had shown the galaxy that they would always choose to love. They were wrong about what strength is, said. True strength is not about having the biggest weapons. True strength is about the people you love. True strength is about being willing to run into fire to save someone. True strength is about being able to win a war and then offer mercy instead of revenge. They were strong with weapons. But humans are strong with hearts, and hearts are stronger than weapons. Emma looked up at her father. His face was tired. His eyes showed that he had seen hard things, but he was smiling. "I am glad you have a strong heart, Papa," Emma said. "I learned that from you," said. He held his daughter close. They stood together watching the lights of 1,000 ships moving through space. Ships and human ships and ships from 100 other species, all moving together, all working together, all trying to build something new. The galaxy was changing, and it had all changed because one father loved his daughter enough to run into fire. The galaxy had learned something from that moment. The galaxy had learned that love was the most powerful force that existed. Everything else was just trying to catch up. Would sacrifice everything for each other. They learned that this made humans strong in ways that could not match. They learned that they had made a terrible mistake. But they learned too late to stop what was coming. The Galactic Council watched and waited. They had never seen anything like this before. Usually when the attacked species surrendered, they tried to make peace. They tried to negotiate. They tried to save themselves, but humans were doing something different. Humans were preparing to fight. Humans were preparing to die. Humans were not trying to save themselves. They were trying to save each other. They had awakened something dangerous. They had awakened the human ability to love so much that you would die for others. They had awakened the human need to protect the young. They had awakened the human choice to fight even when you might lose. They had made the worst mistake of their 1,000-year history. They had attacked a human child, and now the entire human species was coming for them. Seven did not understand the danger yet, but it would. Soon it would. When the human ships arrived and the human soldiers came, it would understand. It would understand that the greatest weakness was that they did not love anything. They did not have anything they would die for, and humans had everything to die for. The war was coming, and humanity was ready. Up white with fire, hull fragments rained down like metal rain. A big piece of the dome frame fell toward them, raised one arm over Emma, shielding her with his body. The metal hit his suit. His shoulder exploded with pain. He felt his bones bend but not break. He kept running. The airlock was 20 meters away, then 10 meters, then 5, threw himself through the opening and hit the emergency seal button. The door slammed shut behind him. The vacuum of space was on the other side, but they were safe now. Safe inside the airlock. Safe because had run toward the fire instead of away from it. He held his daughter and she held him back. She was crying, he was bleeding. The ship circled above them, ready to fire again, but he did not care about the station or the colony or the war that was coming. He only cared about Emma. Emma was alive. Emma was safe. Emma was in his arms. This was the moment that changed everything. This was the moment that would echo across the entire galaxy. A father ran into fire for his daughter. Simple, true, human, and every person who saw that moment understood something they had never understood before. They understood that humanity was not just another species waiting to be wiped out by predators. Humanity was something different, something dangerous in a way they had never imagined.